I'm Jaime Bustos. I'm the Managing Director for Procurement Process in the Mine side.
I'm Sebastian Carmona. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of Codelco, and I'm dealing with all the long-term and short-term challenges that the company has and that we expect to work and address through technology and innovation.
I'll say that we are in a transformation. If you can see our mines, our operations, in the last 5 years and how they're going to be in the next 5 years, you see a shift between the way we're doing business, going from open pit mining to more underground. So that's sort of a game changing for us. Our biggest mine in the past, one that had like 100 years of operation before, that was Chuquicamata, is transforming from open pit to underground. So in the next couple of months, we'll see the operations that we have on the surface stop and going all underground.
We're a very thin country, right? Thin. At some points we have, a width of 200 kilometers. And mining, what we do, the way we do mining here in Chile, most of the mining is large-scale mining. So they're all world-class deposits. Every single there should be here in Chile maybe 10 mines or more that sales over $1 billion per year. So they're all huge mines. And we understand that we are not going to be able to do mining in the next 20 years the way we're doing it now. So we're doing a massive transformation on R&D and also working with suppliers, but working with universities, research centers, other mining companies. And how do we transform the way we do mining? We are all facing two long-term challenges here in Chile: productivity and sustainability. And most of the copper assets that we have here in Chile are similar to each other. So, for example, in the north of Chile, which is is located, all our mines are located in the driest desert on earth. There's a lot of dust. So we are actively looking for solutions for dust control. And Codelco has like 5 mines in the north of Chile, 4 mines specifically in that area. BHP has 2. Antofagasta has 3. So there are a lot of assets with the same problem because they're all located in the same place, right? In the north of Chile also there's no water, or there's less water availability. So every single solution that can help us provide some more water efficiency, that will be highly appreciated, not only by Codelco, but by the other guys. We have as innovation team, we have a short-term focus and a long-term focus, right? And I'm going to focus first on the long-term. Long-term means that we have long-term challenges that we cannot address with technologies that are already in the market now. But that means that we need to put money on R&D, and we need to develop technologies and develop innovations to help us in the long term, right? And that the way we do that is that we partner with universities, we partner with research centers, we even partner with suppliers that have a commitment on R&D. And we work to address those challenges. Now, those challenges are sulfide leaching, in situ leaching, pre-concentration, meaning anything that can help you be more selective on what you're throwing to the plant, right? Underground mining under high stress conditions. Those 4 items are for us for being more productive in the long term. And also we're working on 3 items to be more sustainable. One is how do we deal with impurities, namely arsenic. We as Codelco produce a lot of arsenic. Second, smelters. How do we improve the technology that we work? Because Codelco, we have 4 smelters. And third, how do we address the issue of using less water and decreasing the size of our tailings dam? In order for us to get into the long term, we need to be able to be productive in the short term, right? So we as an innovation team also focus on providing short-term solutions to our operations. And those short-term solutions are not going to come from universities, are not going to come from papers. They're going to come from suppliers. And in that sense, we have focused on short-term. We also focus on several things that I think most mining companies focus. Improving or increasing the throughput. improving and increasing recovery of copper, molybdenum, and other byproducts. Monitoring the conditions of our conveyor belts, which are a bottleneck for us. Water efficiencies, improving also the KPIs of our mobile equipment, meaning we need trucks that are faster, we need shovels that are stronger, and we need to push for that. And every single incremental innovation that we deploy in that sense is going to make a lot of money today for us. So that's what I'm saying, that we have a short-term strategy that is looking for efficiencies and bringing the top suppliers to help us with our technical challenges. And long-term, which is we work also with suppliers, but mostly with universities and research centers.
We're trying to, push more than trying. We're buying equipment and trying equipment right now that it's battery operated, just to get, diesel out of the mines. It helps us not only with the environment, but for Codelco, we spend many resources, trying to ventilate and to get the CO2 out of our mines. So if we are not, if we're using electric equipment that, doesn't pollute inside the mine, it's best for us. So we're making efforts there. We're trying one equipment, LHD, inside the mine that is electric. We're seeing how it's going to fit our operations. And when I'm talking electric, it's battery operated, so it's not the one that you have a cable, and so it's electric in that nature, that it's self-sufficient. So that's a big improvement that we're trying to develop in the coming years.
There's a lot of tailings, there's a lot of waste dumps, there's a lot of stockpiles lying there, and the concentrations and the grade of those, the copper grade or gold grade of those tailings or waste dumps are actually quite attractive. So anything that helps me changing that environmental liability, changing that environmental liability into copper, into a production, that's just beautiful. Because it's already mined out, it's been discarded, and it's considered a liability. And if I can transform that into an asset, that's what I'm more keen of, because you're not going to need that much water, you're not going to need that much fuel, you're just trying to be smart about recycling and doing mining. So we have this stockpile, and we assumed that there was more copper left on, but we didn't know where. So we put some sensors to start measuring the resistance and we identify the dry zones. And we identify a dry zone inside the stockpile, right? So how do we access that dry zone? We brought another technology from an underground mine, which is, this fracking or hydrofracturing. So we pump, instead of water, sulfuric acid. And that's what we're doing to recover more copper. And it was just lying there. And as I said, there's a lot of mining. Every time it's getting harder to get approval on greenfield projects or brownfield projects, because mining is such a big business. But there's a lot of opportunities just lying there in tailings and waste dumps, and not just in Chile, but everywhere. So technologies that can manage or help that transformation are gold for us, and I think are going to be copper for us, not gold, copper for us. So we're pushing strong for electromobility, for example, and we're already start testing hybrid shovels underground. We had a fleet of buses that is electric as well, and we are having several initiatives to reduce the water consumption that we have in our operations. And every single thing that we do is trying to be a more sustainable mine. And that's a clear mandate for us.
The equipment that we're operating in the underground mine are bigger, and they have to be automated. So we're making those big changes that are transforming not only our employees that were sort of relate to an open pit mining operation before. They need to transform to underground, and so the suppliers have to do the same, right? We need new and suppliers that can give us services there, inside the mine, in the underground mine, and the aftermarket services that we hire now for the underground mine.
We have, as Codelco, we have an open innovation strategy. So that means that We need to be really good at defining our challenges. We need to really good at deploying technologies, but we're not the ones that are going to create those solutions. The solutions are going to come from the market. Open innovation means that we as Codelco, open innovation means that we want our challenge to be open and to the public and to the companies, and that we have nothing to hide, and we believe that collaboration and that best ideas are not necessarily going to come from inside Codelco. Some, yes, not from me, but from more smarter people. But most of the ideas can come from anywhere, at any time, and we want to take advantage of that. So open innovation means that we want to be open with our challenges, with our technical challenges, with our environmental challenges, and we are open for business. We are open to receive ideas. We are open to test those ideas, and if they work, we're very good and disciplined into deploying those ideas. 10 years ago, small and medium-sized suppliers were having a lot of difficulties working with us, with Codelco, but also with other larger mining companies in Chile, right? And why? Because most of the Codelco's procurement process were not custom made for innovation. But then we start realizing that we needed innovation, that we needed change in order to improve our performance, but also to transform the way we do mining into a more sustainable way, right? And we tried to engage the supplier and say, you know what, these are our challenges. And we had problems doing business with them because our contract and procurement process were not ready to work with them. And because we didn't have the expertise neither to test their technologies with a test that you can then extrapolate the results into a larger deployment, see? And I think I'm very glad that I believe that we as Codelco, but also some other mining companies, we as Codelco have learned to deal with that from both a procurement process and how to speed up things and how to work with innovation and new solutions, but also from a technical perspective, to say, this is the supplier, this is the solution, this is the site where the solution needs to be tested, this is how long the test we have to work on the test, and this is how the 5-year contract is going to look like after. And we have learned how to do that with suppliers, and I think you're going to find easier and easier to do business with Codelco and to help us, because we know we needed to adapt. It's not just about communicating ideas. It's about transforming that idea into something that is deployed and implemented in your site. And we have learned to do that process. I think people's time is very important, so I don't like to waste anybody's time, see? So we design this kind of approach, meaning that it's going to be me and it's going to be somebody of an operation, right? And we're going to see the solution, we're going to see what it has been applied before, we're going to jointly design, the three of us, meaning the innovation team, the supplier, and the final client. We need to design a test. And we're going to pay for the test. We don't want nothing free, right? And we're going to design a test with specific KPIs. And if we met those KPIs, that means that there's a business for us and there's going to be a business for you guys. So in that, we are probably, if the solution is good and adds value to us, we're probably going to be your best partners for it.
If we can see, two suppliers and we need to develop one supplier with the help of one another, we'll act as a bridge and we'll bring them together. Like the example of that automation where we take, we're in the works in this, right? We're doing it. We're taking one supplier that has a solution, a Canadian supplier that can bring automation to that, and we'll make them, develop that project, right? But we have an appetite, if the supplier, if we see potential in the supplier to help us, reduce our costs and make us more efficient and productive and get to a goal to reduce our C1, we'll take it and develop it, and develop that supplier.
We as a headquarters and as an innovation group, we're always open to every single supplier that wants to meet us or ask us anything by email and say, you know what, Sebastian, I have this solution. Maybe I'm not the expert for that, but I can resend it to somebody and say if it has any traction or not, before you get into all this visiting the mine sites and whatever that can be very expensive, see? So it's important for somebody to govern and say, you know what, if you're selling this solution, you may want to talk to our underground mines and not to our open pit mines. So it's nice to have a point of contact. And we as an innovation group, with technology suppliers, we part of our mission is that one.
It depends on the stage of the supplier and the product, but let's say if this is a product we usually buy, it's new competition to a market that we already serve with suppliers. I'll say 3 to 6 months to do the first sale. That's how long a procurement process will last when we recontract through sourcing. If it's innovation, it could be a little longer, because you go to the phases of developing a product and adapting the product to special need. But I'll say a year for those products. So that will be the time frame.
With the industry identifying challenges and trying to see where do we go. Right now, we are much more practical about it. I would say, you know what, we have this supplier, it worked well. Why don't you give it a try? There are two ways of engaging, I think, and this is very important. At corporate and also at the site. See, the site is your final client. The site is the guy or the person or the professional or the girl that needs your solution, and they wanna pay for it. Sometimes they just don't have the time. Sometimes they don't have the mindset or methodology to test that technology and then to buy it, and that's where corporates comes in and say, I'm going to support you. But we as corporate, to be effective, we need that traction from the sites, from the mine sites. Those are the guys that are going to tell us, you know what, I really want this solution, and I'm going to ask why, and they're going to say, yeah. So, and if the business case is important, then we're going to help them, and we're going to make that solution deployed and stay there forever, and that's our aim. And sometimes you go to the assets and you try to talk to them, but they never have time, have short time because they work 24/7, right? So you get the demand and the traction from the asset, and then you get the help from the headquarters to push forward and move forward with the solution. EDC's region is very important. We have been doing business for a long time, and I think we, Chile, have a special bond with Canada, specifically on mining. We are close to each other, and there's a lot of mining in Canada, and so we learn a lot of Canada, and we hope Canada can learn a lot from Chile, from the way we treat communities, from the way we deal with sustainability issues, from the way we handle technology. I think there's a lot of things that we can share, and part of Codelco and the value that EDC has for us is that it gives us access to that world.